So Diontae Johnson just mutually agreed to part ways with the Baltimore Ravens, even though they just traded for him, I believe 4 weeks ago. Did send a draft pick to Carolina to acquire him, so good job Carolina by essentially getting a draft pick for nothing. In 4 games with the Baltimore Ravens, he had one catch for 6 yards. So good job, Diontae Johnson. Now, he was in the news a few weeks ago when he refused to enter the game versus the Philadelphia Eagles, and because of that, he got suspended last week when the Ravens played the Giants, and ultimately they came to the conclusion earlier today that, yep, this is not going to work, and it's just best for us to part ways. Kind of crazy, man, how they just acquired him, and they've seen enough. They're like, okay, we're done with you. Even though I feel like he could have been a reliable piece going into the playoffs. I mean, the Ravens receiving room isn't the elite of the elite. Like, Bateman had an incredible week last week. Sure, they have great two tight ends. Zay Flowers there as well. But, you know, Diontae Johnson would have been a good number 3 wide receiver with Lamar. And that's what they expected when they trade for him. So just a really weird kind of sequence of events for Diontae Johnson and the Ravens. And he will be hitting the waiver wire, and we'll see if any team picks him up. Hey man, if Kadarius Toney can get a third shot with the Cleveland Browns, I feel like Diontae Johnson might get one more shot, even though this would technically be his 4th shot since being drafted by the Steelers, but you never know. To really look back at Diontae Johnson's career, he was pretty efficient with the Pittsburgh Steelers, got a ton of targets every single game, and then eventually he flamed out of Pittsburgh due to off the field stuff, personality stuff, just overall classic Steeler wide receiver shenanigans. All of them are kind of nutcases to a certain extent, and eventually they had enough of him, traded him to Carolina, and that was that. And his first year with the Panthers didn't really do much for the first part of the season because Bryce Young wasn't that great, but right when Andy Dalton got the keys to the car, he went off. He had a couple of really good games, and then they just decided to trade him to the Baltimore Ravens. So I don't know, man. I don't know what this guy's deal is, and take out all the off the field and personality stuff. I think he's a pretty good football player, but if you're a bad teammate, if you're bad in the locker room, and you're not like an elite, borderline Hall of Fame talent like Antonio Brown, then unfortunately your antics aren't going to be worth it in the end for teams to invest in you. So we'll see if he gets another shot. We'll see. I feel like he might get one more, but I feel like this will definitely be his last one. And if I was his agent, I'd be like, yo, bro, we got to clean it up. Or if I was his agent, I would just drop him right now and just, try to fill up an empty roster spot. So let me know what you think about Diontae Johnson and this strange, bizarre news. Let me know. So I'm filming this Saturday morning. The Ravens have a pretty big game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. With this game, the AFC North is definitely up for grabs. If the Ravens win this game, they could potentially win the AFC North, and that would be really beneficial heading into the playoffs. That would mean they would host a playoff game instead of starting round 1 on the road. So definitely a lot on the line for this Saturday game. I'm really excited for it. Tom Brady on the call. We'll see if he has a good game. And, there's been a lot of talk about MVP conversations, and I feel like the majority of NFL fans and insiders and anyone who works on a team right now believes that Josh Allen has the MVP race wrapped up, but there are surprisingly a solid chunk of people that still think it's up for grabs between him and Lamar Jackson. And they brought up a pretty good point recently where Josh Allen has 3 games left in his schedule, like everyone else. He plays the Patriots twice, and all 3 of those games are Sunday, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock games. So if he has quiet games, which I don't think he'll have quiet games, I think he'll go off. But still, compare that to the exposure Lamar is about to get. He's about to play a Saturday game, which is essentially a primetime game. And he's also going to play on Christmas Day as well. So those are 2 big spots for him to really go off. And not only that, man, but he's coming off of a 5-touchdown performance against the New York Giants. I know it's only the Giants, but 5 touchdowns are 5 touchdowns, bro. Like, that's still pretty impressive. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. So, in my personal opinion, I think the MVP race is wrapped up. But I'll tell you what, if Lamar can somehow turn it around against the Pittsburgh Steelers, because he has not had a lot of success against Pittsburgh throughout his career. So if he could have a good game today and really go off again and blow out the Steelers or something like that, then hey man, maybe the MVP race is still open, you know? But if it's a close game and it's an ugly sort of game like it was earlier this year, then it's hard not to see Josh Allen win the MVP. But we'll have to find out and wait and see. Either way, a lot riding on this game, team-wise, personal-wise for the players, and really excited for it. You let me know who you think is going to win today. I think it's definitely going to be the Ravens. I feel like the Steelers are kind of banged up a little bit, and George Pickens is still out for the 3rd straight game, I believe. And it's just a different offense when George Pickens isn't available. And I know the Ravens' pass defense is quite atrocious, but still. And I just have a funny feeling that Lamar is going to turn it around today. I hope he does. I want to see a show. Everyone wants to see a show today, and I'm hoping we get that. So I definitely have the Ravens here. You let me know if you agree with me, and let me know what you think about Diontae Johnson, the MVP race, and everything else in between. If you've made this far, please subscribe and help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
He has the move to get it done, and he did that time.